Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Now I didn't film a whole lot of this process, but we can talk about the state that we're at right now, but wiring has begun. So up top you can see all of the wires ran through all of the joists. You can see all of the transformer boxes like that guy right there. Those are all for the LED lights, and we have a bunch of outlets put into place. Wires ran to just about everything, and this is looking really good already. So my buddy Matt and his buddy Chase came out here, and those guys knocked it out of the park and made really quick work of getting to this point. And come tomorrow, you can come in and get it to a point where then it is on my shoulders to use this whole pile of materials I have over here to get all of the floor paneling, or I guess this is the wall paneling base layer right here, just some 1/4 inch OSB. Can put that up around the whole inside and outside. I can put the actual subfloor pieces on the top of this and get all the actual wall paneling in place, get the window in place, all of that. And at that point in time, we'll be ready for finished wiring, actually putting outlets in and things like that. It'll be operational again very shortly after that. But again, just a quick once over, quick look over all of these drop down portions right here. Those are just extra wiring that will end up making its way over to each of these transformer boxes. And I am really excited, really stoked with the way this is coming together already. So after the second day of wiring, I have some big updates to show you all, and I could not be more excited about the progress that was made. So looking around, you can see that all of the boxes for outlets and switches and so on and so forth are located. We have 2 up high there, 1 inside, 1 out. We have switch right there, outlet. There's an outlet behind the trash can. A couple of outlets over here, a couple outlets on the other side. These outlets still need to be extended out, but there's a 220 outlet right there for my big belt sander. And you can see all of the junction boxes up there on the wall, as well as you can see the end of the PVC pipe that goes over to the panel over on that wall in that area, and everything is ran over. All of the wires are terminated at the transformers for the LED lights. All of the overhead wiring has been routed, and everything is pretty well squared away. So this switch is put in place right now, as that is the control for the heater up top and getting into cooler weather now. Need to have that thing be functional for the entire time that all this is going, so that way I don't freeze the shop and therefore run the possibility of cracking the block on the Mark IV. So beyond that, like I said, outlets all through here. This switch box right here will have switches that control both the fab room, and the fab room will also have its own individual light switch over in that box there. And this switch box will also control the welding room in here, in addition to its own switch box right there, I believe it will be. So all kinds of cool stuff going on in here, and really, really excited for all of it. And moving outside, a couple other little items to show. 220 outlet right there, and have a 2 outlet box right here to charge up, the DeWalt tools, or any batteries that need to be charged can be done through that box right there. So at this point in time, the structure is ready, minus extending those couple of outlets out, but it's ready for paneling to go up. So a huge, huge thank you to Matt and Chase for coming out and making really quick work of all of this wiring. It went really fast, and those guys are really good at what they do. So huge thank you to those guys. And without them, we wouldn't be at the position that we are right now. But now I am at the position where the ball is back in my court, and I can take all of this OSB and then all of this paneling down here and do starting with the outside, knock out the outside paneling, then move on to the inside, and then put up all the actual aesthetic top layer paneling from there. And then it will be time for finish work for the electrical, and then at that point in time we should be ready to rock and roll again. Well, what was a couple minute long montage for you guys and the better part of a week for me, I now have all of the OSB base layer on the structure. So there's obviously on the outside, and I just finished up the last row on the inside of the fab room today, and I finished up the welding room a day or two ago. So with all of this put down now, it's now time to actually put the finish paneling in place. So I have a little bit of moving to do and a little bit of jostling things around. I need to get all of the remaining OSB off of what you guys can see as the moving blankets right now, but in all actuality are all of my finish panels. And then I can start cutting and fitting and nailing all those into place. So this OSB base layer sheathing I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a pain to do. The finish paneling will go hopefully much more quickly, but The OSB, you have to go through and make sure you hit studs and put a good foundation or build a good foundation to put the actual finished paneling in place. So I'm hoping that the finished paneling itself will go on, and not having to aim for studs will go a little bit more quickly, but I won't know until I get going with it. So why don't I do just that? All of the nightmare of putting the OSB up was well worth it for putting all this paneling up, or at least the first portion of it. Just being able to indiscriminately shoot nails, that was a lovely thing. So both the fabrication room and the welding room have paneling on the lower section, and now I just have to come in and do the top portion. So I did it this way because the lower sections in each of the rooms are the busy areas. That's where the vast majority of the outlets and the doors and window and all things that way are located. So I figured if I would knock that out first, then I have the hard stuff out of the way and I can move on to the simple top portion from there. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this came out, and it isn't perfect, but it will do the job. And I really like the aesthetic that these panels provide. A nice kind of shiplap wall without having to actually do shiplap. So it looks the way that I wanted it to, at least at this point in time. We'll see when everything else comes together, but I'm very happy with how it's coming out so far. So a couple of notes. Tool-wise, if you guys are looking for a brad nail gun, do not buy these ones from Harbor Freight, or I guess this Central Pneumatic one is okay. The Banks one right here is a pile of crap, and they have this hammer on the top side. If you can see that little finger right next to my middle finger right there. And that's what actually drives the nail into the, or it actually drives the nail out of the nailer. So this older style one, it has a thicker hammer, we'll call it, in there, as opposed to the newer one has a more narrow and a bit more fragile one. So in doing this, it's inevitable you're going to shoot brad nails into the heads of screws. And it's a matter of how strong is the brad nailer to actually be able to hold up and make its way through there. And the Banks one, I bent that hammer and it's pretty much inoperable at this point in time. This one, it just shoots the nail and not a big deal. But between the both of them, I've had both of those nailers apart probably 5 or so times a piece at this point in time, and I spent probably a cumulative half hour that I could have been working on the walls, working on the nailers. So learn from my mistakes and probably don't get one of those. Invest a little bit more money and get an actual brand name, good brand brad nailer. Beyond that, tool-wise, this little thing was a lifesaver. So this is a little saw, obviously, from Rigid. I got it from Home Depot the other day, and I used this to cut out all but one of the outlet holes for all of this paneling. Now, I tried to do it with a router the way that I did it with the OSB, and this paneling didn't work very well with the router. It made it through it without much issue, but kind of the laminate top side of it, it didn't do well with that, and it just kind of curled it up, and it looks ugly. Granted, that'll be covered by an outlet cover, but this little saw right here, it made much quicker work of doing it, so I didn't have to go and drill 4 holes and then route out and try to keep everything straight. This thing, I'm just able to put it in forward or reverse and line it up with the line and then just cut that way. So it had been a while since I had purchased a cordless tool, and I had forgotten that it is pretty much a racket where they entice you with the price of the tool, and I think this tool itself was $99, so not bad. However, you obviously need a battery and a charger to make a cordless tool work, neither of which are included with the price of the tool. So that $99 tool very quickly becomes a $300-something tool. So just, if you are buying cordless tools, just beware of that and be prepared to spend 3-4 times what, if you don't have batteries, that is, but be prepared to pay 3 or 4 times what the initial price of the tool is. But all of that aside, very happy with my paneling. I'm very happy that this portion is done, and I will come in off camera and knock out the rest of it, as you guys have seen enough of the same thing already, and I really just want to buckle down and get it done. So with all of that being said, I think that is going to be about the end of this episode. So big things happened in this episode. We went from a raw frame structure to now one that is sheathed in OSB. The inside is more or less sheathed in the paneling, and we're well on our way to finishing this up. Oh, and obviously, we cannot forget the fact that there are now wires and outlets and all things like that strewn throughout the entire structure here. So, very rapidly coming to a close on this project, but there still is a bit of work to be done. And we probably have another few videos on getting this structure wrapped up before I'm ready to get my tools put in here and get back to work on cars. But I hope that you guys are enjoying the kind of DIY construction content. Let me know in the comments below if you are. And I know I've learned a whole lot throughout this process. I'm having fun with it and doing a project that is way outside of my wheelhouse and figuring it out as I go along. But before I drone on anymore, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. So thank you guys, as always, for tuning in, for coming on all these different adventures with me. For the past little bit, building all of this and everything before with the cars. I can't wait to get the shop back together so I can get back to work on these things, but we will get there in due time. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the construction content in the meantime. So with all of that being said, that will be the end of this one. So as always, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Check out the website for manifolds, for merchandise, for all things good that way, as well as my upcoming Black Friday sale, going on from November 24th through the end of November 27th. It'll be the best deals of the year on all the manifolds that I offer, and everything is in stock and ready to ship. So everything on this shelf right here, 2JZ manifolds, SRT4 manifolds, Evo X manifolds, have all kinds of different stuff that way, and it'll all be on sale and it is all ready to go on your projects and help you make a bunch of power. But with that being said, that will be the end of this one. So as always, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.